everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to film a little nostalgic get ready with me using iconic beauty products from the 90s and Y2K era. Since Y2K fashion has made a huge comeback, I thought this would be a fun video to film to revisit some popular beauty products from the past. Now, some of these products I used like crazy in the early 2000s and haven't touched in years. Some of these products I remember being huge in the 90s, but never actually getting a chance to try them. If you have never clicked on my videos before, thank you so much for checking this one out. My name is Carlina and I like to post beauty related content such as product recommendations, drugstore dupes, makeup tutorials, and the occasional clothing try on haul. If you enjoy watching those types of videos as much as I do, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe. With all that being said, let's jump into today's video. So we're gonna start off today with the iconic Caboodles makeup organizer. Now, every girl in the 90s stored their cosmetic products in one of these boxes. It basically just has tons of little compartments and a mirror inside to store all of your products. I remember in 1993 or 1994 being in the 3rd grade, and I wasn't quite old enough to have makeup yet, but I remember all of my friends' older sisters had them and I was so fascinated by them, and I always thought, oh, when I grow up, I'm totally gonna have one of those filled with makeup. And yeah, now as an adult, I ordered one off Amazon last week and dreams do come true. I'm super stoked to have all of my cosmetic items organized. I just use it for my everyday makeup products, and it just makes me feel all the warm and fuzzies and makes me remember the early days where I was discovering my love of makeup. So starting with skincare, I have 2 products to share with you guys. The first is the iconic Neutrogena Oil-Free Acne Wash. Now, myself and all of my best friends in high school all used this cleanser, and essentially it is a foaming gel cleanser which is designed for oily or acne-prone skin. I remember that it was super squeaky clean, and the scent just totally takes me back. I myself am partial to the pink grapefruit, which is the one that I've got here. And since I've been struggling with breakouts lately, just from my mask, I'm excited to actually retry this out. Even though it's been around forever, I know it's still a really, really popular product. Once my current cleanser runs out, I'm almost at the end. I'm excited to retry that. It's been years. Now, speaking of acne products, this is something that I honestly have not used probably since the 7th grade, but I picked them up once again just for this video, and this is the Oxy Triple Action Medicated Acne Pads. Once again, they are medicated with salicylic acid, and they're just like these pre-moistened cotton pads that help to treat acne. Once again, the smell takes me back. It smells like the 7th and 8th grade. Do you know what? To be honest with you guys, I picked this product up just for the sake of the video, but since I've been breaking out so badly lately, I thought I might retry it out. And actually, it significantly cleared the blemishes on this side of my face. And even though I've still got a little bit of a breakout happening on this side, it's actually significantly flatter and much better than it was a few days ago since before I tried it. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe I've rediscovered a new favorite from the past. So the first makeup product that I want to revisit is this Covergirl Outlast All Day Cream Foundation. I've actually never used this product before, but I do remember kind of in 7th and 8th grade, all of my friends that were allowed to wear makeup were using this product. It is a cream foundation that I believe delivers kind of like medium to full coverage. And if I remember correctly, it sets to more of a matte finish. Almost everything back in that time was more of a matte finish, that's for sure. I am not sure if I got the right color once again. I just kind of eyeballed it, and I got it in the shade 420 Creamy Natural. And we're gonna try this on camera here for the very first time. Although it comes with a sponge, I personally like to apply cream products with like a dense buffing brush like this. And let's just see how this goes. It doesn't actually, let's see if I can build up the coverage here a little bit more. Wow, I didn't do too bad with the shade, that's for sure. Kind of buffing that into my skin. There wasn't a lot of foundation choices at the drugstore back then. The two that I really remember was this one, and then there was another like really creamy one by Maybelline, I believe. I want to say it was like a mousse foundation in a little jar. I remember you were either using that one or you were using this one, but this particular compact really stuck out in my memory. Wow, I actually really like this foundation. I'm not gonna lie. It is a little bit more velvety and matte, but it's not sticking to any of my dry patches at all, and it's really diffusing into the skin nicely. It's got a good amount of coverage to it, as you can see. Again, shade-wise, I know it's looking a little bit light, but I feel like once I powder it and add my bronzer, this is kind of where I like to be in terms of shade. It could be to do with the brush that I'm applying it with. You know, obviously applying it with a brush over a sponge is going to give a much nicer effect, but yeah, like I'm definitely going to reach for this guy in my everyday makeup, just as a really quick and easy product to use. As you can see, wow, it's really smooth. I am floored. I was not expecting this at all. Just get my upper lip in there. Get a little bit closer so you guys can see. Yeah, I am not mad at that at all. Now I know why it's been around for so long. It's still actually really good. If you're looking for a more medium coverage, natural matte finish, compact or like one-step foundation, I would highly recommend this. And once again, I am definitely gonna keep this in my drawer with my everyday makeup. I'm sure I'm gonna reach for this really often. We're gonna continue the face with a iconic powder product that has stretched from the 90s to the 2000s that I'm sure is still really popular with powder foundation lovers these days, and it is the iconic MAC Studio Fix powder. Now, I have not used this in years. I've kept it for nostalgia. My shade in the Studio Fix is C4, and I'm going to use this to set that Covergirl foundation. Now, if you're not familiar with Studio Fix, it is a one-step powder foundation that's obviously a very matte finish. It can deliver anywhere between very sheer and very full coverage depending on what you use to apply the product. And basically, it was the most iconic foundation product of the 90s and early 2000s. For those of you that don't know, I used to work for MAC Cosmetics. I worked there from 2004 to 2014, and I can't tell you how many Studio Fixes we sold in a day. It just had that perfect formula of the time. Everybody wanted that super perfect like, you know, non-dimensional matte skin with that really, really full coverage. And it was just the coolest thing. Everybody had a Studio Fix compact to touch up their makeup with. Everybody behind the counter was wearing Studio Fix, and yeah, it's still probably one of the more popular powder foundations to this day. There's people that are still using it like crazy. As you can see, as a setting powder, it really obviously is going to grab to that foundation underneath and give a very full coverage finish. Whenever I had worn Studio Fix in the past, I always preferred to use it as a setting powder because back then I was always really looking for, once again, that super full coverage, super matte look. And the evidence in all of the photographs from back then, you can see we all have like super tanned bodies and super white faces because Studio Fix powder just does not photograph, well, it didn't photograph with flash photography that well back in the day. I have not tried it as of late, but yeah, wow, I hate to admit it, but I actually really, really like that combination of the Covergirl with the Studio Fix powder. So we're off to a great start so far. Just because I have to, I'm going to apply just a little bit of my bronzing powder. Oh, that's my dog outside, alerting me that the mailman is here. Now, if you're familiar with my videos at all, you will know that this is my must-have bronzer. I don't use anything else, and I don't ever recommend anything else. It's just the perfect color, the perfect consistency. It's super affordable. It smells amazing, and I love it because you can use it to contour. You can use it just with a big fluffy brush and dust all over your face. It just gives the most natural, smooth finish, and I just can't get enough of it. So just dusting a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. In the center of my face, just to warm up the color of that foundation. I'm sitting pretty close to a ring light here, so as you can see, as I mentioned with the Studio Fix powder, it does flash back quite a bit because of the intense coverage of that powder. Now I'm gonna let the dog in and then we will do blush. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So the blush that I'm going to be showing you guys today is the Annabelle Perfect Blush in the shade Rosewood. Now, this is going back to probably my high school days, maybe like 8th or 9th grade. I remember that all of the older girls after PE class would be touching up their makeup, and everybody was using the shade Rosewood. And I remember back in the day, the packaging for this blush used to be just that like very minimal black MAC-like packaging. And I remember that this was a super popular color that all of the girls were using. I've actually never tried it. I don't know how I remember the name over the years. I just saw it on the shelf and it totally rang a bell. I hate to admit it, but I've really been kind of gravitating towards more plummy shade blushes lately. Wow, that's very pigmented. I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, and I just find that they give like a nice kind of pop of color to the skin, but also like a contour at the same time. Wow, that's a lot more intense than I was expecting, but I guess it looks okay on camera. Just applying this with a MAC 168 contour brush. This is my favorite blush brush. I'm just kind of applying it in circular motions. I don't own any blush colors like this. I always gravitate towards like the safe, more like neutral brownie tones or like peachy tones. But yeah, something about these plum shades lately I've really been kind of drawn to, which is why I picked this up. Once again, it's a lot more intense than I'm used to. it might be a lot for every day, but on camera it's looking really, really nice. Maybe if I just use a lighter hand, maybe I was a little bit too heavy-handed with it, but wow, not mad at that. Moving right along, let's jump into mascara. Now, I couldn't do a 90s makeup video without mentioning the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara. Everybody recognizes this packaging. Even my husband, who doesn't pay attention to makeup at all, when he saw this, he was like, oh my God, I totally remember, like my mom and my sisters all had that in their makeup bags. So this is a great affordable mascara that, to be honest, I've used off and on over the years and just never really stuck to it. I don't really remember like if I liked it or not, but we're about to find out. So it's got a nylon wand, and the fibers I find are pretty far apart. So I'm thinking that it's going to be a little bit more of like a volumizing mascara. It looks to be like there's a lot of product on the brush. So let's see if I'm able to control this. I am layering it on top of my existing mascara, which is the Clinique Lash Power Defining Mascara. Whenever I wear like drugstore mascaras, or really any mascara, I will always apply it on top of that base layer. I will never apply any mascara without putting that Clinique mascara on first. So that's not unusual for me. I'm kind of speechless. Once again, like it's not leaving an impression at all. Like I don't hate it. It's not messy. It's easy to use. But it's not really doing anything. I also somehow remember it having a really strong scent, and I'm not noticing that with this one, which is a good thing. I should also mention that this is the waterproof formulation. I don't know if that makes a difference. So yeah, the jury's out again, once again, on the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara. I have to say, I do like the packaging. It's super retro, and it reminds me of my childhood as well, and like when I first started getting interested in makeup. And I really do want to love it because it's really affordable, but I'm still not too sure. I think I have to play around with it a little bit more. Now, keeping on the Maybelline Great Lash train, there's also this clear mascara slash brow gel. Now, you can use it for both. Once again, the packaging is so nostalgic on this. I'm going to use it as a brow gel today just to comb everything up. And yeah, it's a brow gel. It's doing what it's supposed to do. I noticed that it's a lot more wet than like the soap brow technique that I've been doing for a long time. So I don't feel like it's holding the hairs up as much as I like it, if that makes sense. Like I like something a little bit thicker, but I do like the effect of it. Definitely it's something that I might just kind of keep in my bag for touch-ups. Another memory about this product, this is actually, from what I can remember, one of my very, very first makeup items, if you could call it that. My mom was super, super strict when I was growing up, and I was always like so fascinated with makeup, as I said, and this was like one of the first things that I was allowed to buy because it gave me like the sensation of putting makeup on, but it doesn't really do anything. So this was actually like my very first mascara that I was allowed to wear, and I was probably like in 8th grade. Watching all the girls put their Annabelle blush on and being so jealous. Anyways, yeah, I still really like this product if you're looking for an affordable brow gel, or maybe if you like something that's not quite as stiff as like a traditional brow wax, or you're looking for something softer than soap brows, I would definitely recommend to pick this up. Now, I guess we will stick to the kind of 90s-ish products since that's what we've been doing, and we're gonna finish that off with the iconic Revlon lipstick in the shade Toast of New York. This is the super lustrous lipstick formulation, and the number is 325. This was one of the few lipsticks that all the girls were wearing back in the early 90s. So once again, I wasn't quite old enough at that time, but I remember, you know, everyone was wearing brown lipstick. So if you were either wearing MAC or you were wearing drugstore. The drugstore lipsticks that everybody was wearing was either this guy here, which is the Toast of New York, or there's another one, like Toasted Almond or something, which is a L'Oreal lipstick. And then the popular MAC lipsticks at the time were like Twig, Taupe, Paramount, Del Rio, all of those kind of like burgundy brown matte shades. So I've actually, although I'm very familiar with this color, I've never actually used it before. So I'm just gonna blot off my lip balm and give this a try. Okay, it's a lot more red than I was expecting. I don't like this color on me. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I have gone out on a limb and tried out a new lip liner. Now, this was recommended by a friend. Thank you, Amin, for the suggestion. This is the Essence Stay 8-Hour Lip Liner, and the shade is called number 01, and it's called Because Duh. There was a couple of nude shades, and I chose this one strictly because of the name, I'm not gonna lie. And it is actually a really nice, like everyday neutral lip pencil. It's not too dark, it's not too brown, not too pink, so it could be definitely a new favorite. If you're familiar with my drugstore videos, or actually any of my makeup videos, you'll know that the only lip liner that I ever use is the Milani Color Statement Lip Liner in the shade 04 All Natural. So I'm excited to have something new and affordable to add to my collection. I go through lip liners so quickly, so I'm not about to spend an arm and a leg on a lip pencil. It's just not practical for me. So, okay, my lips are on. I might need some time to get used to that. Now, moving along to eye products, I wanted to show you guys this MAC eyeshadow in the color Vapor. Now, back in the day, the whiter your brow bone was, the better. Whiter, frostier, you know, if you couldn't see your brow bone from across the room, you were not it. What I particularly loved about Vapor eyeshadow is that it is so white that it kind of has like a blue opalescence to it. So with my skin tone, I found that it really, really popped. Let me see if I can. It's been years since I've put this on my brow bone. It's a very unique texture, actually. I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of velvety with like a little tiny bit of a shimmer. And finally, I threw out all of my MAC eyeshadows, well, recycled them, but I had to keep this one because there's just something about a bright white brow bone, you know? I know it's not in fashion anymore, but it just like lifts the brow so nicely. I find that it just like makes you look way more awake. Like, why am I liking this so much? Maybe I need to reevaluate all of the makeup that I wear on a regular basis and just go back to what I used to wear. I don't know about you guys, but this whole like resurgence of Y2K specifically fashion. I find it makes me so happy because, you know, that was like the time when I was in my early 20s, and it's kind of like one of the first like times that a fashion trend has come back where I lived it the first time, if that makes sense. Like, you know how everything that's old becomes new again, and it's usually like every 15 years or so. Like, yes, the 90s are close to my heart, and I of course love a 90s aesthetic, but Y2K was kind of like my first, like I was old enough to wear whatever I wanted, and so seeing all of these trends come back, it just makes me so happy and just feel like, oh, I remember when I used to wear all that. Now, the one thing I'm not happy about is the low-rise jeans. Now, if you have the body to wear them now when you're young, please wear them. But I am not excited to see those low-rise 1-inch zipper jeans come back in. I am going to be buying all of the high-rise jeans in store while I can, because I don't think I can ever go back to low-rise jeans. They're just so uncomfortable. Now, a huge trend in the early 2000s was a very neutral bronzy eyeshadow with like a pop of color underneath the lash line. I remember in particular, Turquoise was really, really strong for this trend. I'm going to be using today the Annabelle Chrome Kohl pencil in the shade Frosty Turquoise. This was kind of, once again, back in my MAC days. Everybody kind of had like a frosty gold eyeshadow on their lids, and they would use like either PowerPoint eye pencil in Light as Air or So There Jade, or they would use like steamy eyeshadow with an angled brush and use it like underneath just for a little pop of color. I remember all the girls were doing that, and it was in like an Ashanti video and a Rihanna video. So of course, like, who doesn't love them? I have not worn a turquoise eyeliner in years. So as you can see, just adding that little pop of color underneath the eye just adds a little fun. My very, very first, like, actual colored makeup product, you know, not the Maybelline clear mascara, but actual colored makeup product, was a blue frosted eyeliner pencil. And I remember, like, in the 8th grade, all of my friends, all like, the more blue frost that you could wear, the better. And so I remember it was a different brand. It was a brand, Wet n Wild, actually. Back then, they were really known for like really affordable, like $1 eyeliner pencils, and they had like the best nail polish colors. And so yeah, it was like a very frosty pale blue eyeliner pencil, and I remember I would line like top and bottom, and then like do my clear mascara, and then apply a little bit of my friend's black mascara once I got to school, and I just remember thinking I was so cool. So now that the makeup is complete, we are going to finish the look with a fragrance. Now, there are many popular fragrances from that time, but there are 3 that are specifically very memorable for me. The very first is Ralph Lauren Ralph. This is my very first, I guess you could say, designer scent that I ever owned. I believe I wore this from the time I was like 15 to maybe 23, and it's just a really youthful, fresh kind of shampoo-like scent. It just smells like no responsibilities, like young love. I still have a small bottle of this when nostalgia takes over and I just want to smell it again. Now, when I got a little bit older, I would wear Victoria's Secret Love Spell. Now, this to me smells like all of my girlfriends growing up. When we were old enough to go to the bar, we would just douse ourselves in this, and it is a very, very sweet, very peach heavy body spray, and it just reminds me of like the excitement of being a grown-up and just feeling carefree and youthful. And once again, I still have this because it just makes me feel nostalgic, and it takes me right back to that time as soon as I smell any of these fragrances. The third and final scent from that time is still one of my favorites to this day, and it is the Dior Hypnotic Poison. This is a beautiful, sweet, sexy fragrance. This was one of my very first like grown-up fragrances, I guess, that I bought like with my own money. And this, I guess I started wearing a little bit later in my 20s. It would probably be from like 2007 to the present. Once again, it just smells like girls' night out, hairspray, just really fun nights out and being young and carefree. And it's still actually a really beautiful scent that I would really recommend for any of those occasions that I mentioned, or for date night, or any time that you want to feel sexy. And that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's walk down memory lane. Please, please comment below what your favorite beauty products are from the past. I would love to reminisce with you guys and maybe rediscover some more old favorites. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are watching from, and I will look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.